Well, hello and welcome back, my friend. Man, today I'm joined by Brian McAlister. And Brian has just an amazing story of transformation, showing us that where we're at is not where we're stuck. That's not what we're relegated to. Instead, you're going to hear from Brian's story that he went from addiction to transformation, helping other people to find the freedom that he's experiencing in his own life. So that is available to each of us. And I hope from Brian's story today that you're going to see that, hey, yeah, that path is there for you as well. And it's a matter of plugging in, taking that step and not giving up. Brian's got resiliency in his story, finding self-worth, his identity, and obviously his purpose, right? Because he's investing in other people at this point, now that he has found that healthy path and the practice for himself. So, Brian, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. And I'm just from our conversation that we've had before, and you and I see a lot of the similarities and love giving to encourage others that it's like, you're not stuck and that there is more out there. It's a matter of putting in the work and that, continuing that work, right?
Absolutely.
So I appreciate it, my friend. Let's jump in and start on what does life look like for you today on the professional side of things?
Professionally, I'm the CEO of a software company that develops mental health software for people with trauma, anxiety, PTSD, and substance use disorder. I'm the founder and CEO of the Full Recovery Wellness Center, which was I closed it maybe 6 months ago. It was open for about 15 years, and it was a licensed treatment facility in New Jersey. And they really dealt mostly with first responders. There's a lot of first responders, they get injured on the job, they get exposed to medication and things like that, and they wind up with the same problems as everybody else does. And then prior to that, I was the leader of one of the top people in a Fortune, not 100, Fortune 10 company that I ran 110 stores for one of the biggest retailers in the country. I started as unloading trucks for them, and I wound up in that position after a relatively short period of time. And right now, my professional life is good. I have choices. I'm not dealing with financial scarcity. I'm not dealing with personal challenges with my family, with my spouse, and I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place, and my whole goal is to give back and show people how I pulled it off. How a guy like me was, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Just takes time, effort, plan of action, and the work. You said it in the beginning, a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it's that hard work and like a cumulative amount of hard work. I mean, at this point, Brian, I'm like, we're still, in process. Yep. And still making inroads. It's almost like things unfold as more and more work, that is put into it. New things surface that I couldn't see before. And so it's like those layers are always there to be worked on. But man, the benefits from the work, dude, it's just unbelievable. And I can't imagine going back. And I'm sure that's the same for you, Brian.
No, and what's lucky is I look at it like I have two lives for the price of one. I know that whole dark side of myself. I know the whole struggle, the feeling less than, the limited vision of the future. And I know this side, so I feel that's a blessing. So now all that hard living I did, I could put to good use.
Yeah, exactly. All the knocks that we got on the way to where we are now.
Exactly.
Well, let's jump over to the personal side. What does life look like personally?
Personally, I'm married to the same woman for 47 years. She's the love of my life. We got married, we were teenagers, and we took off. I told her when I married her, I was going to take her on the adventure of a lifetime. I guarantee I filled that bill. We lived all over the country. We jumped on a Harley and took off. We lived that type of lifestyle, lived in a tent, camped out and all that. And, she's the love of my life, and I'm blessed. I have a son who lives in Manhattan. He's runs his own business. He's doing very well for himself. My personal life is I do still belong to a 12-step program, which is something that keeps me grounded and allows me to contribute beyond business contributing, beyond the things I do for a living. And it involves really just giving back. And because if somebody wasn't there when I crawled into the 12-step rooms way back when, I wouldn't be sitting here. So I owe a debt I can never repay.
Yeah, I think it's keeping that perspective and not losing sight of like our origins kind of keeps us humble, but also gives us like that resiliency and perspective, right? To continue on without, sliding back into old habits, old beliefs, and getting back into those ruts that were comfortable at one time.
And they're there. I've been away from drugs and alcohol for 33 years. I'm sober. August 2nd, if I don't get high and I don't die, I'll have 34 years. And, life happens. I mean, I've lost all types of people. My dad's got severe dementia. He's 91 years old. So like all these things happen. But the thing is, because I got better, I'm able to deal with them. I'm able to deal with life on life's terms. And that's really the gift. And everybody can get this gift. It's out there.
Yeah. And that is such like a powerful perspective, Brian. Like I look at things that are going on right now and have for like the last 5 years with, parents and family. And just like you're talking about dementia with your dad, right? Man, Brian, before I would have run for the hills, I would have medicated, I would have avoided or just tried to act ignorant of the whole situation to cope with it. Whereas now it's like I can walk through it, I can address it and help being part of the solution to the situation instead of almost adding like napalm to the
Yeah, like a tornado going through everybody's life, you know what I mean? Bouncing off the bumpers of life. That's kind of what I did for many years. And it is really true. I'm sure you heard that acronym for fear, false evidence appears real. I like the one that says face everything and recover, so you stand up, you man up, you do the right thing, you take the right action. And when you do, that's all you can do. You can't, I can't change life or everybody around me, but I can change how I react to all these situations, and I'd rather be part of the solution than part of the problem.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was almost like you're talking about not being able to change people around you. Brian, I think that was like an excuse or a way out was trying to change the people around me and making my changes contingent upon their changes. Like
exactly.
When my wife does this, then I'll do that. And no surprise, that stuff never happened. So I never changed. And it wasn't until I took that responsibility that then things began to change for me. Is that something like you've experienced and seen as well?
And, like if I have enough money, if I have enough, success, if I have whatever I was looking for in the future, people are always hoping life will get better, but most people aren't living the life they're hoping for. You know what I mean? You got to take action, intelligent, daily, constructive action. Like for me, I realized once I put the plug in the jug and stopped doing drugs and all these other things that my life was a mess. I had spent 2 decades, literally tearing it up. And, I decided then that, I'm an adult. I used to blame my family. There was a lot of alcoholism and a lot of different things in my past that, I could use as excuses as to why I had not been successful up to that point. I didn't have an education. I didn't go to college. And I just had to throw that stuff away. I realized I'm a man. I'm an adult. I can choose how I want to respond to life. I can choose what I want to do and take daily action. It's just daily steps to get to where I want to be consistent. But, I also had to ask myself better questions, like instead of like, why is this happening to me? How come I never get a break? All those weak minded questions I used to live on and justify. today I ask myself better questions. Like instead of someday I'll fall in love, someday I'll have more money. So today is someday. What am I waiting for? This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is the one life I get. So I had to make some decisions and take responsibility. From that, grew an incredible life. And the thing is, it didn't happen overnight. It happened over an extended period of time, making adjustments along the way. And it's really been exciting. One thing I did have, though, I did have the ability to take action. A lot of people get stuck in the fear. Like a lot of times procrastination is really masking fear. They're not moving forward because deep down, somewhere hidden in their psyche, they're afraid that they're not going to be able to pull it off. So I started looking at things like a scientist looks at an experiment. I'm just getting a result. Either I'm getting the result I want or I'm getting another result. But if I learn something, how can I look at it like I was a failure? And if I looked at things that I wasn't a failure, it encouraged me to take more action. So like just little things like that, the way I looked at life really made a major, major difference.
Do you think like we all have the ability to take action, or almost like the permission to take action, but we're just making the wrong choice or the repeated choice that we've made in the past that still gives us the same unhealthy or undesired results?
I do, and I'll go with this. Like I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, so that was my MO. When things were good, I ran to that. When things were bad, I ran to that. That was my excuse. And I used that as an excuse why I had not been able to really have a quality life, up to that point. And, for me, the same skill set that I used to keep myself down, the same skill set that I used to drive myself into the gutter, when repurposed, is what pushed me up to the mountaintop. And I'll give you an example. When I wanted drugs, I knew what commitment was. I risked my health, my life, my family, my money, my freedom, anything, and I was going to get what I wanted. That is really a commitment that most people cannot muster. So I took that skill set and I combined it with the moral and ethical standards needed to stay alcohol and drug free. And I made a decision. I wrote out what my dreams were, what my goals were, what I wanted to have, to do, to own, to be in life, and then rather than every time I said, how am I going to do this? I have no education. I would get depressed. So instead I gave myself reasons why I was going to do it, because I owed it to my family for the crappy life I had given them, because I didn't want to drop dead and not fulfill my purpose. I just made a long list of stuff. And the reasons why gave me the stamina to keep pushing forward when things got tough. Because I'm going to tell everybody, they will get tough, but it's certainly worth it.
Yeah. Now, when you've come from a place of, like low self-worth, the doubt, everything like negative, that your perspective and view is in that same vein, how do you step into dreaming, right? If somebody came up to you and said, Brian, this is where my life is at, I don't know how I'm going to change. You talked about, having that dream, that vision to kind of carry you through the challenge and the struggle that you faced and keep you on track. How do you help somebody to be able to dream when they haven't dreamt in a while and those dreams have been just kind of cast aside by the experiences and the addiction, the life that has been lived, so to speak?
Well, first thing is you have to make a decision, and not a promise, not a meandering, oh yeah, I'd like to. It's got to be a decision. And, the root word of decision is a Latin word, and it means to cut away. I had to cut away from my past 100%. Half measures get you nothing. I had to be all in. Like I said, if I needed to cop and I needed something like that, I was all in. I took that same deal and I decided, and I made my dreams and my goals big enough to be inspiring. You know what I mean? Like, I know there was steps along the way that had to take place, but getting a job making minimum wage certainly wasn't going to get my juices flowing. I'll speak for myself again. I'm an addict. I like more. I'm addicted to more, So how can I use that? So I made some really huge goals, And then, I got that behind me, and, I started writing things out, like really simple stuff. A lot of people have heard this, you know, I'll tell you another thing. As an addict alcoholic, I thought I was an atheist. I had a lot of bad experiences as a child with organized religion. So, I realized that, there's a spiritual component to this world we're living in. And I had to figure out something that works for me. So when I wrote out my affirmations of what I was going to do to change every day, I put them on my fingertips. I said, I used the word God. That's just what I used because I needed to get into the flow. I needed all the help I could get. I said, God wants me sober. God wants me happy. God wants me abundantly wealthy. God wants me spiritually fit, and God wants me to help others. And I go, boom. And that was my anchor. And I just got into it over and over. I figure I convinced myself that ruining my life was a party. I called it partying, and, if I could convince myself of that, I figured I had to rewrite the software in my head. So I started that simple. And, that's where I began. I got a job working for minimum wage, unloading trucks on the dock of a retailer, when I first got sober. And it's funny, I was there doing this, and like I was raised with a limited view of self. Like, if you can get a good job and hang on to it, maybe a union job or something, don't ever leave, that's it. And I'm thinking like, I want more than that. And that's what I did. So I looked around on that dock and I seen guys telling me what hours I was going to work, how much money I was going to make, how my family was going to live. I'm thinking, I should have these guys in my back pocket. They're really not that bright, So I started looking at it like that. And I started taking action on a daily basis to see how I can improve my life and the life of my family.
You took personal action. You didn't wait to receive something from somebody else. You figured out what you wanted and then started taking action and took like personal accountability and responsibility for things, right?
Exactly. Most people try to undermine somebody in authority or their boss or this. I did just the opposite. I went to the guy who was the lead man on the dock, and I said, I'm probably sober 6 months, and I said, you seem to know what's going on here. I said, how do you get ahead in this company? And he told me, I said, well, I'll make you a deal. I said, you teach me what you know. I said, and I delegate as much of this work to me as you can. And then do the same thing with your boss. And what happened was he started getting promoted as I made him look good. And then he would pull me up behind him and he would get promoted and he'd pull me up behind him. I made a deal with him. And then he hit the point where he was no longer comfortable, which happens to a lot of us. All of a sudden things are going good. We still start self-sabotaging. I'm capable of that too. Like I've never been this successful before. And I'm doing subconsciously. I start making decisions that turn people and situations against me. I'm not really comfortable with all that success. So this man did that and I went right past him. Like I said, and I wound up having an incredible career with this company, which changed my life. The further up I went, the more people I was exposed to who can mentor me and show me things I didn't know. People who think and act differently than I, people who were already achieving the results I was trying to get. It was the easiest way to get there.
So what was different when you look at the gentleman that was your supervisor in the beginning?
Yeah.
What's the difference between his journey and how he was acting versus, like your journey and how you were acting and thinking? What was different between the two of you that caused him to, self-sabotage and remove himself from the ladder or the way he was climbing it, and you kept going?
Again, we all have experiences we can draw on. Mine was, I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. So it's really a disease of, too much is never enough. It's a disease of more. So I used that God-given trait to move me forward. He hit a point where it was enough. He's working good hours. He was making decent money. He didn't want to go too high where his responsibilities weren't comfortable for him. Where me, like I told you, I looked at it like I couldn't fail. I could just get a result. So as I kept going up the ladder, I started meeting people, that were like spectacularly successful billionaires, who owned these companies and stuff. And it's funny because when I left that company, I opened a couple of my own businesses and I became an entrepreneur, and because I'd done very well, built a beautiful home, all the things, I lived in a tent with my wife one time for about 6 months. I have wandered into the Salvation Army when I was younger and had a hot dog. You know what I mean? So like I have all these experiences. When I got to the point where my life was looking great and my sister passed away from a drug overdose. And, when that happened, it really made me step back and look at my life. Like, I got sober. I changed everything. An old man told me when I got sober, Brian, you got to change one thing. I said, what's that? He said, everything. He goes, whatever you're thinking, you should probably do just the opposite. You're pretty screwed up. You know what I mean? So I did that, and it made me reflect on a lot of things. And that's when, the economy was tanking right after like 2005, 2006. And, like everybody else, I lost a lot of my money, and I didn't drink it away. I didn't drug it away. I didn't gamble it away. I just lost it because the economy tanked. So I didn't have control over that, but I did have control of how I reacted to that. So I took all the experiences, my sister passing, all the heartache in the economy, all the things I saw. And I started laughing at watching the TV, watching my stocks go like this, down. I started laughing. Whoever thought I'd have stock? You know what I mean? Whoever thought I'd lend me all this money, to buy all these houses and stuff. So, I decided, what if it was me instead of my sister who passed away that day? And what would I regret taking into eternity that I didn't do? And I came up with write a book. I came up with telling somebody else how I pulled this off, how a guy like me, went from a biker, drug addict to, a corporate, success. And then of course, the first thing that popped in my head is I can't write a book. I barely get out of high school, who are you to do that? Then I realized, who am I not to do that? Other people have done it. If other people have accomplished this, why can't I? And I told you that action thing. So that day I took an action. I took a pad and a paper and I wrote one line on that pad and paper. From that came, my best-selling book, Full Recovery. And, it's amazing how that works. And, the more people told me, it's like when I got sober, you'll be drinking in a week. Like my friends would tell me, like, wrong guy. I stayed sober out of spite. I hate to be told I can't do something, So the more they told me I wouldn't do good with the book, the more I pushed it. From there came a halfway house, and there came a treatment center, licensed facility. I had a medical facility, all the doctors are working for me. It's crazy how life works. But the difference with me and the guy who stopped going up the ladder on the shipping dock for that company was I see where life is going. I ask the right questions. Is this something that I'm really interested in? Is this something that motivates me? Is this something that makes me want to get out of bed in the morning? And if I come up with the right answers, then I start taking action. And from there, now we have a software company doing mental health software, so like, who the hell knows where life's going to take you? Don't be afraid. Don't limit yourself.
So when those thoughts, Bill, we've all had them where it's like, writing the book, you looked at it and said, I can't do it because of.
Yep.
We've all had those for different things that have come up, opportunities, a challenge that we're facing. And it's like we disqualify ourselves, right out of the gates.
Yep.
What are you doing to strengthen yourself to have that occur less? Because you've talked about being intentional about how you see it and taking action. Does that stuff in and of itself kind of set you up for success in not having those, thoughts and beliefs pop up? Or is there something else that you do as well?
The world's libraries are just full of mentors who are more than had success, always leaves clues on what they did, how they did it. And, I need inspiration. I can do it as much as I can myself, but the idea is I need to pump good stuff in my head because naturally I go there. I was raised with limitation. It's very deep in my subconscious. I'm not good enough, smart enough, talented enough. I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. I have the education. I can go on and on and on and on. Before you know it, I'm circling the drain. I'm going down. You know what I mean? And I got to interrupt that thinking pattern. That's why I put those little affirmations on my fingertips just to interrupt that. I'm sober. I'm happy. I'm wealthy. I'm all these good things. I want to help other people. And most of us have average intelligence. Like it's just what we do with that. It's how we react to life's challenges, not that we can't do it. I found too that people will always help you. Not always. Some people are rotten. They want to see you stay down. That's the people I avoid. I jealously guard what I allow in my head. I jealously guard who I associate with. I want to be around people. If I'm the smartest guy in the room, I better get another room. I want people to tell me what you know. How did you do it? And most people, when asked sincerely, well, help you. You look what you're doing, Mike. Same thing I'm doing. Like I want to see somebody else have all the joy and abundance that I've been able to manage in my life.
Yeah. And I think passing along that belief that it's available and possible for somebody else is like the biggest first step, right?
Yes.
In what we're doing, because once that belief is there, and we can see that from your journey, is you got the belief, you held on to it, you took action, and that creates the momentum to continue building the confidence, the energy, the belief. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. I think of like the whole thing of progress, not perfection.
Yep.
We're not searching for perfection.
No.
We're just looking for improvement along the way. This is an ongoing journey, and the weight of trying to be perfect isn't there. It's removed because none of us are perfect. So we're all equally qualified for the journey.
And, like that reminds me of that Rolling Stones song, "They'll Never Make a Saint of Me." That's the way it goes, like be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, we all have gifts and talents and abilities that are natural to us, things that make us feel good about being us. And that's where you should go. Like I worked with a guy, when I say work with him, he was a client of mine, and he was, he came from a very wealthy background. And extraordinary trust fund baby, super wealth. And his father was a self-made man, so to speak, who was in the financial arena. And to the father, anything that didn't really stick with the financial realm, like you weren't a Wall Street guy, if you weren't a banker, you were a failure. You had to make lots of money. So this gentleman, his background or his gifts, what made him feel good, he liked sports. He liked writing. He liked, creativity, things like this. And his father belittled him till the point where he was always going to be a loser if he went after that. And he wound up becoming a heroin addict at like 23. And he was 52 when I met him. I said, "You're the longest living heroin addict in America next to Keith Richards. You got this thing sewed up, But we went through the deal, and I asked him, like, what would you do for free? Like, what do you like to do? Like, most of us never ask those questions. And, he talked about sports, and I said, well, what you do if you knew you couldn't fail? He says, well, I'd like to be shortstop on the Yankees. I said, well, you're 52, you're a heroin addict, and you probably couldn't play ball when you're a kid, but that gives you a clue. You like sports. You like talking about sports. How can we use that? What would I asked him, he said, well, I said, well, how about sports? You could coach a little league team. You could be a sports writer. You could, you could sell sports memorabilia. Something that you enjoy doing that makes you feel good about being you. I read a thing about Kenny Rogers, the musician years ago. And somebody asked him, your family must have been an interviewer really surprised at your success. And he says, no. He goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, when I was a kid talking about what I wanted to be when I grow up, my mother asked me, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? I said, I don't know. She goes, what do you enjoy doing? He goes, well, I enjoy playing guitar and singing. She says, well, that's what you should do for a living. You'll never have to work a day in your life. And I was thinking, boy, how much wisdom is that? Instead of being told to do something that isn't in you. We all have gifts. Like the software I developed, for example, it's all about asking the right questions. Everybody's answers are different, but it gets you to the core of who you are. You know what I mean? And what you want to do. Socrates said it, right? Man, know thyself, and you'll know the universe and the gods, but so you'll know what makes you feel good. And that's really the key. And unfortunately, most of us are going through life pretending to be something we're really not.
How do you build that success around him? Are you putting him in a community where it helps him to keep that vision in front of him and encourage him? Because sometimes the family and friends that we have around us aren't healthy themselves, and their guidance and advice can put us on the wrong path.
Absolutely.
How are you setting that guy up for like success with the sports?
Well, that's really what my books and what the software is all about doing. And it's something that we give people permission to be themselves. We give them permission to explore beyond their present limited status. And that's really what it's all about. And I'll share some personal experience. Like, I'm from a long line of Irish Catholic alcoholics, birds, flies, fish, swim. We drank, that's what we did. I never thought anything about it. It's just kind of the way things were. And, like, I was given a lot of advice by a lot of people. And it was all limitation advice. Like I said earlier, like, with the type of work I was going to do, the type of job I could have, the type of life I could live, and even the way I acted and reacted to life, and I realize now that a lot of it was bad advice, and I accepted it along the way because, it was given by people who loved me. And the thing is, it wasn't good advice. And I had to have the courage, and I mean that, to break out. When I got sober, my dad and me, we used to drink, you know what I mean? And he was not real thrilled. He was kind of ashamed that I went and, I had to go into a detox and all this other stuff. And he's shaking his head at me, It's funny though, the way things work. I went my own way, and I did my own thing and had all these incredible experiences. And when he was 66, the age I am right now, he called me one day and he says, he was dying. He was drinking himself to death. And I was like, then I was probably in my 40s. And he said, you seem relatively happy. What are you doing? And I told him what I was doing. He's 91 now. He's got a problem with dementia, but until he was in his late 80s, he got another 25 years of life because he did the same thing I did and he got the same result. I'll give you another example. I had a guy I worked with. He was arrested and he was put in the psych ward, and he had all kinds of issues. And when he got out, we got him sober, and I see him, he's reading like a book a day. I've never seen anybody read like this. And I said to him, I said, what's your story? Like, you seem pretty bright. He says, I should be bright. I've got a master's from the London School of Economics. I'm like, really? Well, what are you doing? What are you doing in the psych ward? We started talking. So, he started telling me, I said, what would you do if you could succeed? What do you want from life? He says, well, I want a spouse, somebody of a real loving relationship. I said, that's great. What's your track record? He's like 30. He's been divorced twice. I said, well, who do you talk to about that? He said, my mother loves me and she always has my best interest at heart. I said, what's her deal? She's divorced 4 times. I said, okay. So, this is who you're getting advice from, like your dopey friend, your mother, whatever. So then I said, well, what about work? I know you're like this financial whiz. You're working on Wall Street and all this stuff. You're in the nut house. He says, I said, what do you like about your job? He says, nothing. I hate it. I said, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I was brought up that you have to be on Wall Street to make all this money. I said, well, who do you talk to about that? Guess who? My mother. You know what I mean? My mother loves me and she wants my best. So finally I said again, well, what's your mother's history? What'd she do? Well, she's a landscaper. I was like, okay. I said, so I see a little pattern going here. Like, you're asking advice from somebody who's not getting the results you want. I said, your mother, if you want to be a landscaper and be divorced 4 times, keep talking to her. But if you want to talk, doesn't mean you don't have to, you still love her. She's still your mother, but you might want to find somebody else to emulate who's already achieving the result and save a lot of steps. I can choose what actions I'm going to take. Doesn't mean I have to cut loose my family. Doesn't mean I have to, disavow all my friends. It just means if they're not getting the results I want, why am I asking? It's like trying to get sober for me, but a guy who's still drinking. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have worked out well. It'd be buying me a beer.
Yeah. The people that we take advice from, it's like, we really need to be intentional and cognizant of where they're at and use that as the track record for, if we can listen to the advice, but taking action on their advice is a completely different thing. Like you were talking about the mom being divorced, 4 times. There's something missing there, or, a hurt that is just causing that same pattern to repeat. And it can be the same thing like with finances or, health, habits, whatever the case may be, career.
Yep.
Like you said, look for somebody that is in the place you want to be, and take advice from the right people.
Exactly.
And I had to learn that lesson the hard way as well, Brian.
Yeah, we all have, but the thing is, do what they did and you'll get what they got, is the old saying. And that's the deal. Like, if you don't like what they're getting, why are you taking their advice? Doesn't mean, like I said, you don't have a relationship, you don't love them, but it's not fitting into what you're trying to accomplish, So I still do that.
With the software that you've designed, Brian, like how it's helping people to, change and get the results and stay on that path. How does the software work alongside of me, and how do I, put in my goals, or, kind of give it the target that I'm going for?
It's pretty incredible stuff. It's video driven. So, and it's completely searchable. It's got goal setting workshops. It's got all types of, content, on life, on finances, on love, on relationships, on you name it, on sobriety, on recovery, on, depression, you name it. It's really, there's nothing like it. And I'm pretty proud of it, as you can tell. And the deal is, it asks the right questions. Ask better questions, you'll get better answers. So everybody's answers are going to be different. And the idea is, like, if you read a lot of self-help books, you put it down, you liked it, it was good. Now everything that you do in this every day it's actionable. I mean, it's not just giving you the answers. It's making you come up with what fits for your needs, and it's actionable. It gives you the next step. For me, for example, when I came out of treatment, I was unemployable. I really was. I didn't work for a long time. I was banged up. I couldn't think. I couldn't read. How's that? I was so banged up that the words would just move around the paper. So, I wound up getting a job at this place because I looked at it like a drug addict. I wouldn't leave till I got what I wanted. I kept going down there. I wrote a resume, something so silly, for like a little minimum wage job unloading trucks. And they almost fell over. Like, nobody's ever handed them a resume for something like this before. But I wanted to separate myself from the pack. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to, be able to show that I had initiative, so like simple things like that, and we give you all these ways of figuring out what you want, what you're good at, what's been holding you back. We give you the whys, and then we give you steps you can take to move it forward. It's almost like question, answer, and then it all goes into your full recovery action plan. So you have step by step, you'll have a full year's worth of action steps to move you towards whatever your goals are. Our goal is you should have at least one life altering project by the time you're done going through this process. And you can do it over and over again. Like, look at me. I went from a retail, business to writing books. I had a real estate investment company that I ran for years. I started a construction. I was a licensed builder. All these things, because like when I get bored, like all of a sudden I reach my goal, like rather than stick with it forever, I just set a bigger goal, and I start getting excited because I know I'm going to learn something new. Like, I know nothing about software, yet I own a software company, so it's kind of interesting the way life works. And we all have that in us, every one of us. And, it just having the courage to just take that step. Like they say, fail forward fast. If you fail, who cares? Just keep moving ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about, like we talked about earlier, being perfect. It's about continuing to challenge and move forward and keep at it, being consistent. I think we give too much credit to it being like a big event when it's the small micro decisions and actions that we take on a daily basis that really kind of create that compound effect in the life that in our life that we're looking for.
Sure. If you improve 1% a day at the end of the year, how many thousands of percent would you improve? And the thing is, it's not even improving. If it's not fun, if life isn't fun, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You're really not. It should be a game you can win and enjoy. And it, I have so much to be blessed and thankful for and grateful for. I can't even put it into words. I spent, I totaled my Harley one time and I took the helicopter ride in. And, I had plates and screws and pins. I broke my back. It took me years to get off of crutches. I had to learn how to walk, traumatic brain injury, the whole night, you name it. I broke it. Evil Knievel type accident. And, the first thing I did was get out of my hospital bed, throw my crutches over the railing, hop down the stairs and walk a mile to the bar in 110-degree Phoenix heat to get a drink. It wasn't the alcohol or drugs that did it. It was just a bad break that could have happened to anybody. So like I had to make sure that I changed, like the guy told me, one thing, everything. The way I looked at life had to change. And the first thing was finding people who got the results I wanted and asking them how they did it. And people who weren't in that wheelhouse, I was friendly, no problem, but I can't go there. I have limited time. I have 24 hours in a day. And how I use that time to a great extent will affect the type of life I'm going to live.
Yeah. And I think in that story, you've shown how much strength and power and resiliency we have just in who we are. I mean, if you're like sitting there, hey, I'm broken up, but yet I'm able to go to the bar to get something I want. It's the power of what you're after, right? That goal, because it could be anything else that moves you to do that as well. It just in that situation was the alcohol, pulling you there.
Yeah.
So you talked about books like being mentors, libraries being full of mentors. When you look back, who are like, two or three of those mentors, that wrote out, their thoughts in books that helped you the most along the way?
I read a lot of biographies like Henry Ford, it was pretty interesting. And Henry Ford had one situation where he was expanding his company, and he failed a bunch of times. You know that, right? He didn't just start out banging out the assembly line. He actually went under a few times trying to get this thing going. So like, instead of looking at the failure, he rewrote it and went back to the drawing board. So okay, I'll try something else. That's really the key to it. He had a deal where, he was going to expand his plant for the first time. So he didn't know where to get people. This was a new industry. Nobody ever did it. So he asked his managers, send me up 100 people from the floor who are the best workers we have. So he made them the offer to if you want to take some classes at night, we're not going to pay you. But if you want to take, we're going to put you in management. You'll be able to make more money, got better hours, went the whole deal. I'll give you 24 hours to make your mind up. So he figured they'd let them go home and talk to their spouses. The next day he was shocked. Only a handful of guys took it. Everybody else didn't take it. They were afraid to move forward. They had a decent job. The third day, so the 24 hours were up. The third day, half of them came back and says, well, I rethought it and, I maybe I'll take that job. And none of them would he take. He says, I found people that when given all the right information, they can't make commitments, and they're afraid to move forward. When the going gets tough, they'll be the first to run, go back to the assembly line. Success leaves clues. Of course, Think and Grow Rich and some of the classics like that from Napoleon Hill are really good. You can read my book, Full Recovery, and same deal. It's that type of a book. And I believe that everybody with this average intelligence and the ability to take action and follows the step-by-step stuff that I lay out, there's no way you can't improve your life. You can get what you want. Another thing is a lot of people, they say they want something and they really don't want it at all. Like you say, well, I wanted to be in business for myself. You got to ask yourself the question, why? Do I think I'm going to get prestige? Do I want to, think I can get more money? Why do you want it? I want to have children. Well, why do you want kids? You want love? Do you want to give it? Do your friends have kids? Do you want to, continue on your legacy, your bloodline? Why? Because a lot of times we say we want something, but we really don't want it at all. Somebody else told us, like the guy in the finance, that's what we should have. So part of the process is getting down to it. What do you want? Why do you want it? How are you going to lay out your game plan to get it? And then just start taking daily small steps towards achieving your goal. Eventually you'll get there. I know it. I do it all the time.
Yeah. And I love the fact, Brian, that there's that common thread again of commitment, that you've talked about. Man, it was a commitment that I made, and I stuck with it and got the change that I was looking for, especially over the long haul, seeing where things have gone from where they were to where they are now. Well, Brian, how can guys reach out to you and connect outside of this podcast?
You can reach out to me at either VRS for Virtual Recovery System. That's our thing. Freedom365.com. We started a little nonprofit. It's the same type of stuff that we talked about. Plus, it's got some post-traumatic stress stuff, which a lot of our veterans are struggling. And you could download it for free. If you got a couple of bucks, throw it in there because it allows us to keep giving it away. It's a nonprofit and it's tax deductible. But you go to mymentalhealth.org and you can reach me there. And if not, you could also go to, I'll give you my email. Put it out there. Email me. My email is bmcalister, MCALISTER at full, FULL, then the hyphen, recovery.com. bmcalister at full-recovery.com. And, give me some time. I promise I will get back to you. And I wish everybody out there, I wish you success, whatever that vision of success is, whether it's just being a better father, whether it's just being a better parent, whether it's being the head of IBM, whatever that thing is for you, go for it. Like I said, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your life.
Brian, I so appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story, and just that, it's about the commitment and keeping that daily, investment there, taking the action. And Brian, I really appreciate you providing your email address. I'll put that in the show notes. That's huge. So thank you again, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you.